Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, here we go. It's a show called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Here I am. I've got this microphone and it's sitting in a pan, and I'm here at Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley land. And it's Mike Matthews. How are yous? I'm going to bring you some news, and we might lose our minds slightly, but that's what we do here on the show called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I'm at the wonderful country of Ameritopica, because we're so many topics
Daily
to get to
Podcast
on the show called Mike's Daily Podcast. Hello. We are also going to try and figure out why Mike Matthews did not do a podcast. He missed a day this week. Oh, so close. So close to doing all of them, but there was one day that something happened where, let's just say, lovely lady friend had a lot more extra time than I thought, and so we enjoyed fun time things together. Oh, hey, what happened recently here was this thing with the Bitcoin. Now you can get an ETF with all kinds of cryptocurrency in it. Interesting. And as they said, oh, you can have this, they were also saying, but be careful. It's what they use for ransomware. Yes, the Securities and Exchange Commission approved spot Bitcoin ETFs for trading in the U.S. in a decision that has been in years in the making. Fidelity, BlackRock, and Grayscale, among others, will now be able to sell these ETFs, thus giving cryptocurrency more credibility. The Bitcoin ETFs are similar to gold ETFs, if you know about that. And
here's today's podcast picture.
All the time when they're saying on AM radio stations, buy gold! Gold! It's an investment. Buy it now. Stock market. Don't trust the stock market. Buy gold. Well, now it's going to be something like that. Well, there are these ETFs that buy gold for you, whereas you don't actually have to buy a brick of bullion for $1 zillion and keep it in your basement with an armed guard. They do all that for you, basically. The podcast picture is of Pleasanton and this cool sunset last weekend, and, well, I hope you see it because I took a picture and I have it there at MikesDailyPodcast.com. The late, great Basil the Boxer, who I miss every day because he was such a great dog. And dogs really get there. If you're a dog person, you know what I mean. They get into your heart and they never leave. So there he is singing a little for you there on the Mike's Daily Podcast show, which is now being played in your ears right now. This allows the buyers that are buying this ETF to open an account without actually buying the cryptocurrency directly. Because we have heard horror stories, have we not? And then people that their businesses get hacked into. And there's a ransom. They got to pay a ransom. They got to use Bitcoin to pay it. Because they can't be traced. So there are different types of storage options for this asset. The SEC chairman remains skeptical about Bitcoin, saying it is primarily a speculative, volatile asset that's used for ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasion, and terrorist financing. And I applaud him for saying that, because it is true in the back of our mind, lest we all get wrapped up in fads and big name celebrities like Matt Damon. He was in Oppenheimer. Telling you, everybody's, it's all the young people, the young good looking people. They make the money with cryptocurrency. So you can do the same thing. And you can be as rich and good looking as them if you use cryptocurrency. FundStrat's Tom Lee said Bitcoin could reach as high as $150,000 in the next 12 months and $500,000 in the next 5 years. So if you bought Bitcoin back when it was like 10 cents, that's great for you. But if you're coming along later, not such a big deal. But apparently it dropped a little bit today as of this recording. McDonald's is bringing back the double Big Mac because we can't die fast enough. The McDonald's Big Mac is getting even bigger beginning at the end of this month, January 24th, the double Big Mac, which has 4 beef patties, 4 instead of the usual 2. But really, are McDonald's beef patties even beef or patties? I guess they're patty-like. So maybe 4 of them would maybe make 1 patty.
Is that why you're bald, Mike?
This is limited time. Nationwide, McDonald's briefly sold the special sandwich back in March of 2020. But it never caught on, because guess what else started then? Yes, COVID. They serve roughly 550 million Big Macs every year in the U.S. alone. That is more than 1.5 million Big Macs. 1.5 million sold in the U.S. every single day of the year. McDonald's is offering softer buns.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
And they're adjusting its grill setting for a better sear and improving how the cheese melts. That's their goal in life. And I think everybody needs a goal in life. How do I make cheese melt better? That's my goal. That's what I want to find out. And the Big Mac's getting more sauce. Yes, more sauce on the Big Mac. What is that special sauce? It's insane. It's good. I just want the special sauce, and that's it. I don't need a burger with it. Now, this all comes from Rob Black. He does a show on the radio on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings, and he is also on television on Kron. As we go outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, to the last place on earth.
Anyway.
Somewhere in the country known as Ameritopica.
Hey, good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later.
Topica suntan lotion. No, but Rob says when he went to Kron, and he does a news segment on the television show, Monday through Thursday is what it is.
Mike is awesome.
In the 9 o'clock hour. When he was back in Kron when he was at Kron back in 2001, and McDonald's the stock was at $30. It is now at $280. That is roughly a 900% plus a dividend rise. There are about 42,000 McDonald's locations worldwide, and they plan to grow that to 60,000. So yeah, I don't like McDonald's. I don't like the only time it's good is if you're on a road trip and you're like giving yourself maybe 5 minutes to stop and get something to eat. There, McDonald's. Even though it's horrible for you, it makes you feel terrible later. But it has killed so many people with all the money it's made, with all the stocks, the 900% rise. It's probably killed more than 900% of the population. If that is even working out number-wise, I'm not sure. Amazon has cut its streaming jobs after spending billions building its content and streaming service. It now is reining in costs, laying off hundreds of employees in its Prime Video and MGM Studio units. Amazon terminated 27,000 employees not last year, but the year before, 2022, and in the early part of last year, to bring costs down. I watch Amazon, but I'm not really watching the things that Amazon made. I'm watching the channels that Amazon offers. Like, you have to pay extra on top of Amazon Prime to get things like Acorn, BritBox, PBS Masterpiece, all the British stuff that my lovely lady friend and I find oh so enjoyable, and we love how people talk over there and the beautiful scenery. And sometimes the writing is just way better than American writing here in the USA. Not sure why that is, but they do write much better, it seems. So, however, the Amazon Prime regular TV show stuff is horrible. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to watch that. So gratuitous. There was that thing, the Paper Girls one, with, is it Ali Wong who won the Golden Globes? She deserved that for Beef. That's on Netflix. She and her co-star, the guy in that, he also got an award. And I thought that was well deserved.
The Haley moment of the week.
That's what I meant. See, if I lived in England, I would have known how to say that properly. After all, they did come up with, what is it called? English. So,
It's a trap!
Allie was in Paper Girls for a little bit. And then it's a very bizarre sci-fi time travel type show. And it makes references to all kinds of 80s stuff. It tried to be like a Stranger Things, only with girls. And just girls. And it was terrible. It had a horrible ending. Had some interesting special effects, but in the end, it just was not a good show. And that was Amazon. So maybe it was time to cut some jobs. Let's see. Alaska Airlines thinks that $1,500, that's what the airline offered passengers after the door plug on the Boeing 737 MAX 9 blew off. To assist with any inconveniences, they gave them $1,500. Oh, don't sue us later. Here's $1,500. We almost killed you. Survive the flight and get $1,500. Wow. YouTube will promote first aid videos to searches for heart attacks and seizures. These instructional videos, they're short and will be pinned at the top of common search results for emergencies, including bleeding, choking, heart attacks, seizures, and opioid overdoses. So, if you, let's say, cut a finger off, and you go to watch a video on what you're supposed to do, will it do this? Oh my gosh, ow, oh, I cut off my finger, let me start a video. Oh, what do I do now? Oh, the video's starting, finally. Wait, then there's like a 10-second ad. Hey, check out the new McBeef heart attack at McDonald's. It's really good. The Big Mac with 3 patties in it. Oh, skipped. I gotta skip over that because I'm bleeding like crazy. I'm bleeding profusely, and I just lost my finger. What do I do? Okay, the video's starting. Hey guys! Hey, this is a great video. We're gonna talk about how to bandage up your finger once you cut it off. Okay, find a bucket with lots of ice. You got one? Okay. And then dump it on your friend. Ha ha, ice bucket challenge. Nobody remembers that, do they? That's what got everybody watching YouTube in the beginning. Or was that Facebook?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Are you tipping your influencers? Speaking of TikTok, who ripped off YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat and everybody else, they are the first app where users spent $10 billion plus, mostly on tipping streamers. Yes, streamers get tipped on TikTok. They should call it Tip Top. I just came up with that. You're welcome. I'm brilliant. Look at this. And did you like that little improvised skit I did about the Big Macs? And wow, and the finger's missing? I hope you don't lose a finger. I hope you don't have to go to YouTube. I do go to YouTube for all kinds of automobile stuff. I locked my keys in my car. What do I do? The fob on my key is not working anymore. When I press the button, it doesn't lock the car. What do I do? Analysts expect in-app purchases to jump 150% this year with TikTok. So that's how things are going with that. That ain't going away anytime soon. So, well, I guess as I smack my lips, that's a good place to end today. I'm not going to get all political about stuff. I'm not going to get all angry about things. I know the weather's messed up in most of the country, maybe most of the world where you are. I hope you're safe and sound, like that Capital Cities song. And I hope you say hi to this wonderful guest that's joining us here at Café Anyway, outside, somewhere in Podcastro Valleyton, the last place on earth. Podcastro Valley Mont, actually. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. How's snow globe, Mike Matthews? Thank you. Oh, these snow globes are wonderful. You always want me to buy them, but now you're just giving them away. That's right, Mike Matthews. I made a bunch of money off of cryptocurrencies, and I didn't tell you that because I'm a massive celebrity and everybody wants to do what I'm doing. But cryptocurrency made me a gazillionaire, and also the fact that I get a bunch of tips on TikTok, Mike Matthews. Ah, tips on TikTok and cryptocurrency. That will be what saves Generation Z. That's what they're hoping for, because they can't go out and buy a house.
Hi there, Mike. How are you?
I was listening to somebody, he's a conservative talk show host, he's a millennial. And he was getting all angry at boomers. He was at some convention with boomers and Gen Xers, some big conservative convention. And people there that were older than him were complaining, what is it with all these millennials spending money on experiences? They should be putting that money away so they can buy a house or invest or something. Instead, they're spending it on cryptocurrency and video games and stupid things like that.
What was that all about?
And this conservative talk show host who's a millennial, who I disagree with 99% of the time, he said, look, there was a time, there was this thing called the American Dream. The Gen Xers were mad at the baby boomers for this because the baby boomers got a bunch of stuff. They got into their houses much cheaper than Gen Xers did. They got houses that were way less expensive. They weren't over $100,000 in a lot of places. Now everything is over $1 million just about everywhere, it seems. And Gen Xers had a tough time getting houses, but they somehow got houses or gave up and just said, heck, I'm going to rent it. I'm going to rent. And there's nothing wrong with renting. There was all this pressure put on us for years, and the pressure is still coming down from the housing industry, from who knows where else. This is FF episode 2746. Did I mention that? But it's okay to rent. It's okay. In fact, it's, okay. Because in the end, when they say having a house, this was the big thing. When I was getting into my 40s and 50s as a Gen Xer, I kept hearing from the baby boomers and the people above them, the dream generation. What is it? Not the dreamers. That's something else. The greatest generation, the whatever generation. They all said, buy land. They're not making any new land. So buy land. They're not making any new stuff of that. So that seemed the thing to do. But at the same time, you buy land. You got to maintain it. That costs money. Got to maintain the house. Got to maintain everything. You got to pay taxes. Property taxes keep going up. They keep going up. Even though like a base tax does not go up, they add they're somehow able to add every year more and more taxes on top of it for all the services in your community that they need. I get charged for BART, which I barely use. I get charged for the schools. I don't have any kids in the schools, but I'm still charged for all the local schools. I'm charged for roads, you name it, everything. I'm taxed on top of my property tax. I get the bill for everything else. That's bundled in with the property tax.
Yeah, how's the mic, Mike?
So all of that. Am I renting? No, but it feels like I am. I'm still renting. So money goes somewhere no matter where. Oh, but Mike, if I own the house, then I still own the house, but I'm paying for it with all that. That's okay. Versus the rent and just throwing it out the window. No, you're there. The landlord likes you. If they raise the rent, there are lots of laws now that prevent them from raising the rent. There's lots of things you can do, lots of rights you have as a tenant. There's a lot of stuff going for people today that are tenants, that are renters.
Right.
And plus, rent went down in a lot of places. So as a homeowner, I'm telling you, I'm not so keen on the whole Like, that shouldn't be a dream that you necessarily have. But the millennial that I was talking about, the conservative millennial, he was saying, hey, you know, a lot of people who are Gen Xers or Gen Zers and millennials, they spend money on these experiences, like $4,000, $5,000 to go to Europe and do a Europe thing or whatever it is, because the prospect of buying a house is ridiculous. It's a fool's errand. It's like, why would I want to? They're too expensive. I'm never going to be able to afford that. And he understood. And when he explained it that way, I'm like, I understand. It made me think about all these things. And that's why I talked about it right now. And that's why I have Floyd the Floorman and John Deere the engineer joining me.
Why the hell did I yelp that?
Hi, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And John Deere the engineer, which is exactly what you just said. But we wanted to tell you that we own a beautiful castle here in Podcastro Valley, and we love it. Mm-mm. Yeah, but it's way too cold right now. Because I'm Floyd the Floorman and I'm cold. I told him to wear socks, but he doesn't wear them.
What is the matter with you?
See, that's the thing. Homeowners, they're walking around with their socks on because they're too cold. They don't want to pay for that really high heating bill. Oh, did you see? That's the other thing. PG&E went through the roof last year. So, like, all the money you pay to keep the house going, to keep the house heated, to keep power going into your house so you can watch TV and Amazon Prime, and all that costs more and more and more. So maybe it's a good idea to rent where you get some of that already covered. They don't really cover the watching television stuff. But some of if your utilities are covered, wow, you're ahead of the game, really. That's all I'm saying. And if you have a good landlord. Now, I had an awful landlord when I rented in downtown Ventura. Well, I mean, a nice guy, but like stuff would go wrong, and he basically told me, you fix it. Well, do I get something off the rent? Well, I never asked that question. If your landlord ever asks you to fix something, yeah, tell them, I will, sure, if you take it off the rent. But yes, these are all things you probably know, but just bringing it up. And to some of you that are younger, that are feeling despair because of all the stuff that society tells you need, you don't need it. Think about it if you really need it. Do you just want to have it, or do you need it? All you really need is oxygen and food and water and sleep and love. And Mike's Daily Podcast. Thank you for listening. If I missed anything there, let me know. Here's the number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with more ways to reach me, it is a frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!